Hey there, I'm the Dungeon Coach, creator of DC20. I'm going to talk about level 0. Why would you want to play level 0? That sounds super boring. Well, I'm going to one-up you there and say, what about something that comes before level 0, called a novice character in DC20? I'm also going to compare this concept to Dungeons & Dragons, where most people start the game at level 3, because level 1's a bit boring. And then we're going to showcase the DC20 method for building this absolute novice character before they've become a class of any kind. You can take those concepts and apply them to other tabletop roleplay games, and I'm going to show you a resource that combines it all into one big thing. So what is level 0? D&D comparisons, break down the system, let's go. So why on earth would you want to play level 0 in a tabletop roleplay game, regardless of any system? Why would you want to rewind the clock and go backwards to before you became that class? I think that's a very interesting moment. There's two huge things here that really get across why you would want to do this. One is a very meta reason of logistically teaching someone the game. DC20 is a new game system. It is a new tabletop roleplay game. People don't know how to play it. And in DC20, there's something that comes before level 0 called a novice character. A novice character is someone who literally just picked up a sword, just opened a spell book, and is like, I want to be an adventurer. You literally haven't even picked a class yet in any way. You're basically either a martial or a spellcaster, and that's it. Level 0 is where you do pick a class, but just a little bit of it, and then level 1, you are a level 1 class. So now that we're all on the same page, if you play a novice character, you're gonna have less tools in your toolkit and be able to play with the foundation function rules of the game. In fact, in my extensive playtesting of DC20, the hundreds of playtests, so many times at the end, people have ended like, man, that was so much fun. And then I wanted to break the realization to them that they never used a class feature once. Sorcerers never using Overload, Commanders never using Commander's Call, Druids never using their domain. They just played the class and had a lot of fun being a martial, being a spellcaster. So why not let new players learning a new system play the game with less wheels and bells and whistles on it? They can learn the core concepts of the game, rolling dice, adding modifiers, action points, etc., and then build on top of that foundation. So with the system I'm going to outline for you guys, novice characters start off like that, and then they build up to level 0, giving them a little, just one class feature, a little bit of mana or stamina, and they just get a little bit of those tools to be able to play with now. And then they're ready to go and they become a level 1 character, and they are ready to hit the battlefield. So that's one reason of just logistics of teaching the game to a new player. But what if you're already a new player? What if you've already done that? Well, I think there's something really cool. The second reason here is to actually tell your own backstory. Play out your backstory. How did you become this character? A lot of times when we make characters, we don't have their backstory fleshed out. You don't have to do that. I've done plenty of videos on backstory creation, and however much backstory or however little backstory you have entering into the game when the game first starts is up to you. But playing your own character before they became their class, I think that's a really interesting moment. Might be able to give you a deeper connection to your character and where they came from and where they're going to. And a third reason I'm going to throw out right now is an overall character progression. Starting at a lower point gives you a better feel as you climb up the ranks and start off at level 0. You're going to be able to throw things at them like a bunch of rats. A wolf would actually be scary. Like right now in real life, if you were to walk around and see like a lion against you, that'd be terrifying. Now, if you're already a level 1 character, you have mana and stamina and features and abilities and all this kind of stuff, it wouldn't be as scary. So you're able to kind of throw challenges at your players that you never would be able to usually throw at them. Opens up a new type of play space. Now, a second thing I want to talk about is the D&D connection here, because in Dungeons and Dragons, it is stereotypical where everybody starts the game at 3rd level, because that's when you have bells and whistles to play with. People don't play at level 1 because it is in general boring. I'm not trying to dump on Dungeons & Dragons right now. Full disclaimer, that's never a goal of mine. I wouldn't be here without Dungeons & Dragons, so there's that. But I see it all the time for my own players included. Level 1 is just kind of lame to play. Even when you play one-shots, you probably start at level 3. If you want to be able to have a character that feels a certain way and you have some bells and whistles and cool features to be able to use, probably level 3. Level 1 is just really simple and boring, where you just have an action that you're probably going to use to attack and you're done. But there's some value there, just like I talked about learning a system. Level 1 is very basic and easy. It's just a very flat experience to be able to understand, but it's great to learn the game, like I just talked about in the last example. But to be clear, a level 1 character in Dungeons & Dragons has spells. They have mana or spell slots to be able to use to do stuff. They are powerful to be able to still fight things. So level 1, you still can't throw like a bunch of rats at them and be too scary. So it's more so about the complexity and the different amount of levers and tools at their disposal compared to the options that you have in DC20. DC20 out the gate at level 1 has a lot of things, and it's really fun to play at level 1. That's part of why I designed it to be that way, because I think you should start off a game you're playing at level 1. So my solution to get the best of both worlds in this situation is in DC20, level 1 is kind of like level 3 in Dungeons and Dragons as far as the play experience, not player power level. To be clear, DC20 and Dungeons and Dragons, I've said this multiple times, is a 1-to-1 comparison as far as progression and a level 20 D&D character is the same as a level 20 DC20 character, level 10 is the same as level 10, and so on. I'm more so talking about the options that you have. When you're playing a level 1 character in Dungeons and Dragons, you don't have a lot of options. That's why you want to play level 3, so you have a subclass and a thing, and you can multi-class, whatever the heck you're doing. In DC20, you already feel like that at level 1. You can have action points, you can do stuff, help actions, class features, other things. So anyway, if there's this position where Dungeons and Dragons level 3 is similar options of amount of things you can do as level 1, well then if we go backwards in DC20 to level 0 and then a novice character, a novice character is that same level 1 feeling in Dungeons and Dragons where, okay, here's how the game works. You have action points and you that's it. Then you work your way up to level 1, which is where you feel like you have all the things in control and you're able to be taught that in a smooth way. So now what you've been waiting for, how do you build a novice character in DC20? How do you level that character up to level 0? And how do you level that character up to level 1? Well, we've done a whole system and done all the work for you and put it inside of a PDF that is part of the DC20 magazine volume 3. Level 0 characters is a super simple, straightforward PDF with exactly this in there and 8 monsters. There are 4 novice level monsters and there are 4 level 0 monsters to also give out more monsters for DC20 because I know that's something that the community needs. As with all DC20 magazines, this is available right now on Patreon only for the first month that it's available, and then it goes up on the website on DC20.com. The link for that will be in the description. If this is during Patreon, the Patreon link will be down in the description, and after that it'll be the website. That's exactly the point of these DC20 magazines, is small little supplemental content to be able to add some nuance to your games as you're playing DC20 as the full game's being developed. And yes, trust me, 0.9 is hard in the works. Lots of progress. I just did a Kickstarter update over on Kickstarter. I'll link that down in the description as well to kind of keep up to date on where this whole thing's at. Because with 0.9 comes levels 3 and 4, and then you'll be able to really go from novice character, level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and be able to actually really get a lot more levels in there. So if you're interested in that, check out the description down below. Patreon's also where I show live stream content of live developing the game of DC20. Lots of behind the scenes stuff. Check it out. All right, so let's build a novice character. Again, a novice character is a level -1, if you want to call it that. It is before level 0, because in my definition, a level is associated to a class. Like if you're a level 1 cleric, you're a level 1 cleric. A level 0 cleric would have some cleric features. We'll talk about that in a second. But a non-level, you don't even have a level. You're just a novice character. You're pretty much a commoner who just decided, you know what? I want to be an adventurer. You've taken literally one step forward. We'll talk about what that step is in step 1. Attribute points and prime modifiers, where we start out here, and I'm going to showcase the differences of what the difference between a normal level 1 character and this novice character is. A novice character gets a standard array of attributes of 2, 1, 0, -2. That's it. You normally get a 3, 1, 0, -2, but that 3 has been reduced down to a 2, and you normally get +2 bonus points to spend wherever you want, add to things, add to weaknesses, whatever you want to do. Nope, you get 0, and you have therefore your prime attribute, normally in DC20 for level 1 characters is 3, and it might not say it right here, but the attribute cap for novice characters is 2, so you cannot increase it even with the ancestry stuff. Speaking of ancestries, step 2 is ancestries. Ancestries represent the character and creature that you were born as, so you get your full ancestry. You get all 5 traits. There's no difference between this and a level 1 character. This was an aspect of your character I feel like you just are. Like, you are your ancestry, so you have all 5 points. It doesn't show it right here, but you do get the 0-point trait for your ancestry as well. Ancestries are the same. Level 1, level 0, they're the same. Step 3 is your background, which in DC20 gives you skills, trades, and languages. Languages and trades are the exact same. That's your backstory stuff. You've probably been doing that. You've been a blacksmith. You've been a mason. Whatever you've been doing, right? You get all 3 points there, and you have all your languages. That's all the same. The only difference here are skills. Instead of having the normal 5 skill points plus your intelligence, it's now only 2 skill points plus your intelligence. So yes, if you have the 2 skill points and your intelligence is -2, you have no skills as a novice character. You're just straight up regular across the board. But step 4 is my favorite step, and this is what I meant by the step forward, is your starting path. You aren't picking a class, but you're picking a type of class. Are you a martial, or are you a spellcaster, or are you a hybrid? And in this case, if you choose the hybrid option, then you are pigeonholing yourself into choosing Spellblade, so that is the only hybrid class in DC20. But besides that, you can choose martial or spellcaster, and you're not choosing a class there. But once you get to level 0, a little foreshadowing towards the future, when a novice character levels up to level 0, you can only pick a class in the type that you chose. So if you chose martial to start off as a novice character, once you choose your class at level 0, you can only pick between the martial classes. Now there's 6 of them, and the same with spellcasters, there's 6 of those. So you do have a branching choice here, or down the middle Spellblade. But you just get a pinch of a martial taste, a pinch of a spellcaster taste. Martials learn attack maneuvers, which are the most basic attack maneuvers, adding 1 damage, adding reach, and adding a cleave effect. All the most basic ones. And you gain the benefits of weapon styles. It's another little weapons in general, if you don't know in DC20. Each weapon has a different style, where axes have different properties than swords do. Really cool stuff. And you get 1 maneuver of your choice. You get to pick 1 maneuver. So you get 3 very basic maneuvers, 1 maneuver of your choice, and weapon styles. That's the only thing you're exposed to. So now you have a much lower, you don't have any class features, you don't have any of those bells and whistles. All you have to do is, hey, this is the only thing I can play with, but it's still a lot of tools in comparison to what you might be used to in level 1 of Dungeons and Dragons. Now for spellcasters, you get 2 cantrips. That's all you get, is 2 cantrips to be able to kind of have some spells, use them, and you probably should have one of those cantrips be an attack cantrip in some way that deals damage in some, but your call. And if you don't know this, attack cantrips have attack enhancements where you can spend action points to be able to enhance them in different ways, just like martials have martial maneuvers that they can add and enhance their attacks. So now both methods are similarly complex, and you don't have to be like, oh, I don't want to play a spellcaster because that'd be too complicated. No, you can pick either one. Technically, the most complicated in this case is the hybrid option, because you have both things. Because hybrids gain the benefits of weapon styles, like we talked about with martials. They also learn 1 maneuver and 1 cantrip. Mix of both. Step 5 is your health. How much health do you have? The formula, instead of being 6 plus your character's level plus might plus ancestry, instead that 6 has been reduced down to a 5, and I guess technically you still add your level, but you're not even level 0. You're a novice character, so you don't add anything there. So it's literally just 5 plus might or minus might. Careful there, because you could have a health of 5 minus 2 is 3. Watch out, novice character, you gotta survive. But ancestry bonus also if you do have one. Step 6 is defense. You have physical defense and mystical defense. Formulas are pretty straightforward and simple as before. It's 8 plus agility plus 1 for your armor bonus for your physical defense. Done. And mystical is 8 plus charisma plus intelligence. Done. And then step 7 is the final step, which essentially is just you filling out the rest of your character sheet, where you have your attack and spell checks is a +2 for everybody, because your prime is 2. And normally you'd add your combat mastery, but combat mastery, if you don't know this in DC20, is half your level, and you don't have a level, so that's 0. So it's just a +2 to good old attack checks. Your save DC is 12 from the same formula calculation with a base of 10 plus that. Martial checks are the highest between athletics and acrobatics. Your death door threshold is equal to your prime, which is only 2. So that's also a little bit smaller. Move speed still 5. You can still move around. You got 5 move speed, no problem there. Jump distance is the same as usual. Rest points is your might. Again, minimum of 0. If you have a negative might, that does not take away rest points through having no, you always have at least 1 rest point. And then grit points is still 2 plus your charisma. You can be that gritty level novice character that wants to be an adventurer. So that is how a novice character works in DC20. Very easy to digest, very easy to play. You could play this maybe in a few sessions. And I'll say that at the end as far as what my recommended path would be for this. But that's a novice character, absolutely super simple. And then when you do want to level up, you feel like your party's ready, even if you just do 1 session of level 0. Cool, they're level 0. And then you tell a simple story, and then they're right off and they get level 0. Level 0, the upgrades here, I go through the whole breakdown, and there's a whole thing for if you wanted to start off at level 0 instead of a novice. I have a thing for that in the PDF, and I also have a section for upgrading a novice to level 0. And here's the little things you get, which is you gaining 1 stamina point if you're a martial character, or 2 mana points if you're a spellcaster. If you're a hybrid character, you get to pick one or the other. So now, going from novice to level 0, you have a resource of some kind. kind. Well, only one resource, and you have to now you can learn stamina or you can learn mana. But keep in mind, marshals don't even have their stamina feature because you don't have any class features. But going from novice character to level 0, you get to pick a class. You get to pick your class. There you go. You're finally a class of some kind, but you only get one of its features. So if you chose monk, for example, monks have monk training and monk stance. Those are its 2 features it gets. You only get one of them, and you don't get its stamina feature. You don't get any of those other things. All you get is one class feature for you to play with. Because yes, you might be a monk, but you're a baby monk. You just became a monk and you're learning the stances and all that kind of stuff. And you also get some starting equipment, and you do get a few more maneuvers or spells. You actually get spells now instead of just cantrips. So there also is a little bit more sprinkle in of those extra little bits. You get 1 extra skill point, 1 extra save that you actually can have mastery in now, and your health increases by 1. So a little bit of sprinkles across the board. So my best recommendation that I can try and give you as the creator of the game of what my intention is for what I see being a solid fit for a group that wants to play DC20 and has not played it yet before, I would say, here's what I would do. And literally talk to your players about this, because I think that they might be hesitant to do something like this. They feel like they're going to be at level 0 and stuff for too long. So I would say, starting off a brand new group, 1 session as a novice character. Throw some simple challenges out there that you'd never be able to do after this, something absolutely basic, and that's where the thing starts off at. You can even do a time skip to where you fast forward a little bit. You can run it almost like a flashback to start off the campaign with, where long ago this is where you were back when you were an absolute novice, and then some years have passed. So again, 1 session as novice, then the very next session you would upgrade to level 0, and you would play 1 or 2 sessions at level 0. That for me would more so depend on the story that you want to tell at level 0, because that is still, training wheels. So then after the next 1 or 2 sessions, you would be level 1 and you start playing. And I would ultimately say you'd be level 1 for about, 3 or 4 sessions. Now, again, that's the initial intent. Is probably, I would say you'd be playing level 1 for, 2 or 3 sessions as far as when the game's fully released and stuff. I do recommend for you now to go a little bit slower if you want, because the rest of the levels aren't here yet, and unless you're trying to just get to level 2 and then play there for a little while until level 3 and 4 come out, you might want to slow down your level of pacing. Then you hit level 2 and you can stay there for 3 or 4 sessions before you get to level 3. So big picture, novice for 1 section, then you level up to level 0 for 1 or 2 sessions, then you level up to level 1 for 2 or 3 sessions, then you level up to level 2 for 3 or 4 sessions, and you see what the progression looks like. And with that, I'm going to stop talking to go work on 0.9 so I can get you all those level 3 and 4 abilities so that we can keep things rolling here. So if you're interested in any of this and want to help support all the stuff that's going on, DC20 magazine is on Patreon. That's the best way to support things going on as we are continuing the development of lots of different stuff and content. We have some new adventures that we're working on and a whole bunch of other content to be able to try and give you guys stuff while the production of the game continues to plow on forward. So until next time, stay creative, think outside the box. Peace.